Let's move on to main topic number 1, shall we? And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by William. And William writes, "Hey, John, I just read a report that says Netflix, the movie and TV show streaming company, is going to start offering video games as a part of their service and just hired a former gaming exec to head it up. They're saying Netflix could be streaming games within the next year. Is this Netflix making a huge mistake getting into something they aren't experts at, or a genius move?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, talk about kind of surprising news. This kind of comes out of nowhere. So look, Netflix right now, despite how great Disney Plus is doing, despite the great programming that Amazon Prime has, despite how much great programming HBO Max have, the reality is, as of right now, Netflix is still the king of the hill. They still by far have the largest market share. They're going to be the biggest for a while. Now, I don't think they're going to be the biggest streaming service, like say 2 years from now, but right now they are still the king of the hill. They're bosses of the beat, if you want. And, you know, they have done so with a great mixture of curated content of other people's IP and their own original TV shows and their not so good movies. But sometimes they create a pretty good one or not. So the question is, with that we've been asking a lot lately, with services like Disney Plus, with services like Amazon and HBO Max and Paramount Plus and Peacock and more coming and more on the way, we all know that original content is going to be king. What's really going to differentiate all these things is going to be who has the best original content, both in terms of quality and, to be honest, in terms of quantity. With this news that Netflix is going full-blown into video games as well, that may change things a little bit. Look, this comes to us from the folks over at Engadget who write, the company, that's Netflix, will reportedly build out its own gaming team in the coming months to be able to start offering games for streaming within the next year. Not 5 years from now, not 3 years from now, within the next year. Netflix isn't exactly inexperienced in the area and previously developed games based on its popular shows. However, it released those titles on mobile and consoles. Bloomberg says the company won't be making a separate platform for its upcoming video games and will instead make the games available alongside of its TV shows and movies under their own category. Also, the streaming giant reportedly has no plans to charge extra for game access, though it's unclear if the additional content will lead to future price hikes. All right, that comes to me from the folks over at Engadget. And there's a couple of big things in there. Number one, that they're just going to be doing streaming video games. Now, of course, streaming video content or video game content has become more and more popular, right? Like Xbox has its own streaming thing that I'm actually a subscriber of. You had Google Stadia. Is that what it's called? Stadia, that burst on the scene with a lot of promise. Nvidia has its own service as well. There are a lot of services out there that offer you the ability to have video games that you don't actually have to physically buy. You can actually just play them in a streaming format. That's out there. Some are better than others. The idea that Netflix is getting into this game is kind of lunacy. Like it's kind of crazy. Imagine this, loading up Netflix, and as you're looking at the interface, alongside, you know, Bridgerton and The Crown and Dark, right beside it there is, you know, the latest Assassin's Creed game, or the latest Call of Duty, or, you know, Last of Us 3. You know, that right up there, you could have your movies, TV shows, games. Which raises another excellent question. What will happen? Like, what happens with these games? With some of these services, you have to buy the game, and then it's there available for you to... But will just any game they put on Netflix just be available for you to stream? I mean, will it follow the same model as like they do with their movies? Because if you're a Netflix subscriber and you want to watch, you know, a movie, let's say Old Guard, You don't have to go on, buy Old Guard for $13 and then you can watch it. Everything on Netflix is included in your subscription. Are they going to include that with the video games as well? That if you're a Netflix subscriber, you don't have to go out and buy, Divinity 3. You can just play it. If you're a Netflix subscriber and they've got it, you can just play it. It also raises a question about what kind of selection are they going to have? Like, how many games are they going to have? And are they going to be AAA games? Or is it just going to be kind of the bottom of the barrel Walmart bargain bin kind of games that are out there? I mean, I don't know. Listen, I love, I don't know, what's a good one? I love StarCraft 2 as much as anybody, but StarCraft 2 has been around a long time. And if that's the big premium game, so that's interesting. The other interesting thing is that they're not going to make it a separate streaming service. It's just going to be all combined in with the same thing. Now, look, you bring up the question about, is this an idiotic move on their part because they don't know the first thing about games? Or is it a genius move? Well, I can see it both ways right now. On the one hand, this is not what this company knows. This is not what this company understands. And while they have a fantastic already built-in broadband infrastructure that could probably serve up these games pretty well, this is still not something that this is their area of expertise. That being said, they are hiring the right people. You mentioned yourself in the email that they just hired a big gaming executive. They're bringing on more people, the people who do know what they're doing when it comes to games. But I will say the most interesting part of it is this. In a landscape where Netflix is now losing market share to this plethora of other streaming services, and everybody's asking the question, how will each streaming service differentiate itself from the others? I mean, by the way, Amazon, I got their offer a while ago. Amazon's also got its own kind of streaming thing as well, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be quite like what Netflix is doing. If Netflix can just add this as a way to further differentiate themselves from Disney Plus, from Amazon Prime, because here's the thing. If you're, somebody, you've got a limited budget for your entertainment, you got maybe $40 a month you're willing to spend on your entertainment, and you can't get all the streaming services, but one of those services offers you premium gaming experiences built right into your monthly subscription. Now, this is all assuming they can make it work, because maybe they won't be able to make it work. Stadia looked like it was going to be incredible, but it's had its issues. But if you're, that person who's got, like, I'm going to spend $30-40 a month on streaming services, you can't get all of them, you can only get one or two, but you're also a gamer, isn't Netflix going to become a really attractive option for you? If included with all of its TV shows and movies, there's also premium games, if they're going to do that. It's interesting. So yeah, I get it. It's a risk. They're not a gaming company. They don't know what they're doing. But at the same time, if they can bring in the right people, and if they can make this work, I think that makes this little gambit of theirs extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. So, let's see how it works out. Question is for you guys. What do you think about the notion of Netflix getting involved, of not only streaming you your favorite movies and TV shows, but also games? Could this be a deal breaker? Could this be a game changer? What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.